So this one was the typography poster, and my word was movement. For the concept of movement, I chose the word because I like it. I like the flow behind it, the way it's always representing continuity. There's always like an act of motion that needs to be improved. So that's why I picked a movement. And I started with the messy ideas. And during class, it was kind of difficult because there's a set time again that you have to make all these little doodles when it comes to the typography itself. So I started off with this, and here my ideas were not really flowing. So that's why you see very like random lines going through it. Then I also, again, I used my sketchbook to do the drawings, and then I scanned them to show the process. And here I experimented with the font that I was going to use in the later stages. And I then traced it out to see how would it look redone, but by hand. And then the same font, this was, I think, Montserrat. I used this again, I traced it and I reshaped it entirely digitally. And then these are some of the trace variations that I did, that I experimented with the letter placement. Then we started with the black and white progress. This was the initial stage, so we were not allowed to add any color. And I did a lot of variations because I was not able to understand how should I place my typography. And there's not really like a right or wrong answer. It has to make sense in a visual language. So I started like this, I did this. I even did this, which is not allowed, but all the ideas matter. And then I started adding color. Then I also did end up adding a background, thinking, okay, it's going to make sense, but no, it does not make sense. But I still wanted to include it. Then she said, okay, try thinking of the rhythm of movement, try seeing how you would place it. So I started with this. And then I started further putting it into movement and being like, okay, let's make it distorted a bit and seeing how that looks. And then I think for my final poster, she ended up saying that this one looks good. Maybe the placement of the text must be aligned, the body copy. And this was the final design. One thing I've taken from my previous career is that like I always will rely on pen and paper, always. I have an iPad, I have Adobe, I have Illustrator, I have everything, but I will go back to my little sketchbook and my pen. That is the only way things make sense to me. I've tried using my iPad, for instance. I tried using it here. It felt good, it felt nice, but this feeling was something else. Doing this, making mistakes, taking my process down was my final stretch. Please use your pen, please use your tools, your paper. You might not have that in the future. Use it. This was my very first portfolio project. I was very stressed in thinking that, okay, everything has to be the best, everything has to look good. And for me, the process was stressing me out because they don't really care about your end result. They care about how you got there. And I kept looking back at my initial stages and I was like, am I missing something? Do I need to include something extra? So all of this was becoming a very big overthinking in my process. And then when I had my final review, I was lucky enough and I had Prachi ma'am review my poster. She said something during that review that has been stuck with me till this day. She said, why did you not go with your initial idea? Why did you change everything in the end? As an artist, as a designer, you change everything last minute. You change things continuously. And when someone who's an expert in design says this to you, that why did you change your initial idea and came with this, I didn't know how to feel. I know she didn't mean it in a bad way, but it's like, what did I do wrong? Why did I choose this instead of something like this? She was like, why did you not choose this? Why did you end up doing this? So that has been stuck with me since then, and I keep referring back to her advice on how to be very mindful on the decisions I make with my design outcomes. All these portfolio projects unlocked a new skill in me, a new way of thinking and a new way of approaching design. It's like, okay, yes, you have a very set of routine when it comes to doing the design from start to finish, but each project conveyed a different emotion for me. And as I kept going into the next module, I met people that also helped me build that confidence, that reassurance with each project.